Hey guys, a little word before I start this draft. Um, I recorded this draft. It was an 8-4, a single elimination draft, and I lost the first round. I think it's still a nice draft to look at because I'm taking a look at the upcoming Guardian deck, which I told you about that I don't like. Um, but even though it's still the draft in one round, there are some nice things that you can pick up from this. If for no other reason, you can see me fail a lot because I made a lot of mistakes. Um, so if you don't feel like just watching a draft in one round with a deck that doesn't do spectacular and a player that isn't at his best, then I recommend you skip this one. If you do like to see that, then just go ahead. I put in a little bit extra at the end about the upcoming Gate Crash set. So if you want to stick around for that, there's a little bit of it extra. And I would have done a better draft if I had time, but I'm a little bit pressed this week, so sorry about that. And I'll get you a better draft next time. So enjoy this draft, or not, and I'll see you next week. Hey guys, and welcome to another Return to Ravnica draft. This will be one of the last Return to Ravnica drafts that I'll be filming. Since we're going to change over to Gate Crash pretty soon, and that will be a lot more exciting to do than Return to Ravnica. Not that it's gotten stale, but well, new format, new drafts, obviously. This is the first booster that we're getting. We have Lotte Troll, which is an incredible good creature. Another good card, Celestia Charm, which I really like for its versatility, its removal, its combat trick, and even its creature all in one. The rest of the booster features Frostmourne Weird, also an amazing creature, and incredibly good in the Pursuit of Light plan and all that stuff. And we have Trailgun Assassin, which are the picks that I would consider. I'm going to take Lambda Troll because it's by far the most powerful card. The fact that it can regenerate and can get infinitely big is pretty good. The Trample is a really nice addition, and it makes for overall a really solid creature that's hard to remove and can play early game and end game and everything in between. So we're taking that. Then we're getting the second booster. We have Ogre Jailbreaker. It's something that goes really well with Lotte Troll. We also have one of my favorite cards, Mana Bloom, which makes a lot of colors possible. I am convinced that Mana Bloom will table run to us, so I'm not taking that yet. The Ogre Jailbreaker is hands down the best card in this booster. Other cards that you could consider are Slitherhead at this point, but it's okay. It's not really good. Rakdos Fat Freak might be considered. It's very aggressive, and that's just all about there is to it. All the other cards are not something that I fancy right now. I might consider Common Bond if I wanted to go for a Pagash Lesnia deck, but I'm not sure I want to go that way, so I'm just sticking with the best card in the booster, Jailbreaker. Now I'll have to look out for any gates that we can get. Oh, here we're getting another Ogre Jailbreaker, and possibly Centaur Healer. That's basically the choice that we have. There's some backups here, like a Throwback Rhino and Sewer Chamber, so I'm pretty convinced that something of this booster will come back to us for a very good round pick. I don't like Cryptborn Horror, the rare of this booster. Cryptborn Horror is really situational, and if you're doing enough damage to make him really big, then you're probably winning already and you don't need him. And if you don't do enough damage to make him really big, it's either a really tiny creature or uncastable, and that's the big no-no in my book. I don't really want to branch out into the Centaur Healer yet, because the Ogre Jailbreaker is just as powerful and not as forcing us into a third color yet. Even if you have to pick off-color guild gates, then that still won't be as troubling for a mana base as having to play white sources for Centaur. So this booster gives us actually Gatekeeper Vine. Usually I'm not really a big fan of Gatekeeper Vine because it adds so very little. It's a rampant growth with a little guy on it, and for most decks that's okay, but it never really shines. Now when we have two Ogre Jailbreakers, every gate is going to be worth it, so this guy can really make a difference in a deck like this. And if you draw him late game, you don't need to land, you can always toss him to a Lotte Troll, so he's useful then as well. I'm taking the Vine. And in this booster we get a guild gate. Even though it's a reckless guild gate and we're on a straight carry plan, still I'm really considering taking it. The alternative is taking Aerial Predation or Archweaver or Transcold Promenade. The Archweaver and Aerial Predation are cards that I have played in my main deck list, but usually stay in my sideboard and only come in against decks that are useful against like slow decks or decks with a lot of flyers. The difference between Guild Gate and Transcold Promenade is mostly that one is a gate and the other one is not right now. We don't have any red cards or any white or blue cards to really make a difference in the colors, and the guild is really useful for the jailbreakers, so when we take Guild Gate to be sure that we have at least one gate. Here we get the booster with a lot of borderline playable cards and another Transcold Promenade. Since we already have the Vine and we're already going for a gate plan, I'm figuring this is going to be more colors than usual, and sticking for straight will make for a smoother deck, but I feel that by taking a card like Mind Rot or Terrace Worm here would just give us another sideboard card, while the Transcold Promenade might actually make for a pretty good deck that we can splash anything we want in the second and third booster. Combine it with the Mana Bloom that might be coming back, and I'm really excited about the options that we're getting. This booster has again a lot of just playable cards that don't really make me want to jump up and down. But there's a Stonefair Crocodile which is in color, in curve, and generally very decent. So we're going to take that. And here we have another Crocodile. We also have Golgari Longlegs and Celestia Keyrune. Celestia Keyrune might be useful if we end up with the multicolor deck that I've been talking about, but so far I don't see any reason to deviate from getting the creature that fits on the curve. Like the previous Crocodile, this Crocodile can as well. And I'm not opposed to just taking it here and running it with it. And if we end up straight Golgari with the Guild Gates all off color, that's okay. And if we end up with a multiple color deck, then the Stonefair Crocodile is good enough to just hold the fort until the big cards come. This booster has a lot of cards that I'm not excited about. I'm going to take the Root Board Defenses because I think that's the card I don't want to play against most of these cards, but we're probably not going to play it anyway. As predicted with the Mana Bloom. And this booster doesn't offer us anything. Avenging Arrow is a removal spell, so that's a bit better than the rest I suppose, but I'm not splashing white for Avenging Arrow, so I'm going to take the Terrace Worm. Even if we don't manage to get anything else, a deck like this is going to ramp up on the lands and then have something big at the end. It's just a requirement. I don't want to fail on that. Same goes for Horncarver's Chant. It's just something to put at the end. I don't want to play those cards, but if we have nothing else, then at least we have those. And here comes Archweaver. That's a whole lot better than a Terrace Worm. And there's Catacomb Slug, which we don't want to play, so hiding this, also hiding the Root Board Defenses. So far it looks like we're going straight ahead to a ramp deck with a lot of colors possible. Now we'll just have to see if the boosters will provide us with the cards to make that work. Then we have this booster, and here we have a whole lot of cards that are, well, just okay. The best card in this booster, I think, is the Rakdos Ragemud, being an aggressive Rakdos creature, but the lifelink and haste make it very versatile, and I think it would even work in this deck. We already have enough fixers like the Mana Bloom and the 2 lands to make it work. So the question is, do we want to get Golgari Decoy, which is the second best card in this booster, or do we want the Ragemud, or do we want to branch out entirely and take something like Explosive Impact and go completely on the ramp plan, which is feasible but still a bit of a risk. So I'd say we go for the Ragemud because that leaves us the options of still being an aggressive deck, but just having a Ragemud as just one of the other aggressive creatures. And if we end up being mid-range or very controlish with the ramp part, then the Ragemud can fulfill that role as stalling until something bigger comes along. And this booster gives us another Gatekeeper Provide, which is worth mentioning because we only have one gate yet, and we need to improve that if you want to make use of those jailbreakers. Risen Sanctuary is one of the better big guys around that you can ramp into, and it's certainly better than Terrace Worm and Archweaver, and also Horncarver's Chant. Not to be discounted is Grizzly Salvage. If you're going for a deck that is going to need a key ramp creature, it doesn't hurt to have a card that can actually help you look for it or can fix up your mana. Also looking for things like Lotless Troll is certainly not overrated because that card is just that good. Frostburn Weird and Pseudo Flight are a completely different deck plan that I don't want to go in at this point. If I wasn't so focused on the end game that we're having, I might consider getting the Frostburn Weird and making it some sort of Jant combination, but that's not in the cards right now. So I'm going to take the Gatekeeper Fine, because that's something that we definitely are going to need, and the Risen Sanctuary might even come back to us. Here we have the completely off-color gate and the third Jailbreaker. We already have 3 gates technically in the form of 2 vines and the Reckless Guild gate, so I'm pretty confident that we can play the Jailbreaker and make it a 4/4 that can almost always attack. Something to keep in mind is that there is a Teleportal here, and Teleportal is a card I really like in a deck like this. People don't see it coming, you can play it without a lot of problem. And it's a really good finisher. You're just building up some guys, you're playing defensively, you're getting in a few hits with one of the big creatures like the Jailbreakers, and then suddenly out of nowhere, bam, you win. That's really, I mean, what's not to like. But I'm going to pick Jailbreaker because that's the best card and it doesn't put us in an awkward mana-based position as Teleportal does. Also, I'm pretty convinced that we can get a Teleportal or a Chemist's Trick or whatever if you really want one. This booster is full of Rakdos. It kind of makes me wonder with the guys to my right been drafting. There is a Guild Gate here, which I would be tempted to take if there wasn't such a powerful removal spell like Augur Spree. Augur Spree is just one of the best 3 commons in the set, and I'm not going to pass it up for a gate that we don't necessarily need right now. So I'm just taking the removal and see where we go. Here we're getting X-Bane Guardian, which is of course a nice combination to go with the Gatekeeper Finds and the ramp plan. That doesn't seem to be a good alternative in this booster. If I had a Guild Gate, Nazorius Guild Gate, I might consider Lee of Sky Knight because it really is a top-notch creature. It brings a lot of power, it brings useful abilities, very aggressive, and it doesn't get shut down as much as I thought it would with cards like Concordia Pegasus in the set and Ice in the Skies. But if you're playing against a Rectus deck, they probably have nothing that can block it and you can really do some damage with it. As it stands, I'm not confident in our colors enough to take a card that it's 2 colors off, so I'm taking the X-Bane Guardian and going for the ramp plan. This booster brings us another late Frostburn Weird, and a couple of filler cards. Golgari Charm and Sewer Chandler are both fine cards, but they're nothing really exciting. The Golgari Charm is a nice trick that that does a lot of things that we might use, but the regenerated creature control part is kind of redundant because all our creatures are probably going to be bigger than theirs. So I think the Sewer Channel might be a bit better because if our opponent plays Swamps, it's a premium threat. If it doesn't play Swamps, it's just another stupid Grey Ogre that can later pump up something critical like the Lotless Troll or the Reckless Rage. Also, I really like the scavenge mechanic with the Lotless Troll, which means it's just an extra +1 counter if nothing else. This booster comes with a whole lot of unplayables and the removal spell, so there really is no choice here. It's Assassin's Strike, we're already set up to pay for those cards, so we're just going to go for it. Now this booster is interesting, because there are a lot of cards that I want. There are Gate, a Vine, and some generally decent creatures. The Dagger Imp is pretty good, and I don't mind playing Riot Militant, because it's just really aggressive, and it can get in a few hits before it gets swamped down in the bigger creatures. And if it's a 1 mana creature that deals 4 damage, then it has pretty much done its job, and you haven't lost the creature yet. So, the difference between the Gate and the Gatekeeper Vine is that the Gate is completely off color and the Vine not. So I'm going to take the Vine once more, but I'm really hoping to get a Gate that goes with our colors at this point. This booster is empty. There's nothing in this booster that I want to play ever in this deck. So I'm taking the rare and see if I can get like a quarter tick for it or something. And this booster is the same as the last booster. It does absolutely nothing. Celestial Sentry might be a creature that could be played in Celestia deck, so I'm taking it out. They're not playing it. I'm going to take the Treasured Find out here because it has potential. And there are a lot of good cards in our deck, and although I think the power level is high enough to warrant the Treasured Find, I don't think a lot of our cards are going to be in the graveyard enough for Treasured Find to be worth it. But we'll see what we get. If we get 2 or 3 more removal spells, I'm really tempted to just play the Treasured Find and run with it. We're getting a bonus Ravnica rune, so I won't say no to that. Now let's see if we can get some white spells to actually make it worth playing it. Then if we don't get those, then well, we'll just stick to the sideboard. As an accelerant right now, Ravnica rune just isn't good enough. We can solidify our land rush with the Gatekeeper Vines, and we already have a Guardian, so I'd much rather play another Guardian than Ravnica rune. Or just a quality creature instead of Ravnica rune, because in this deck it's just a bit of neither. Okay, so here we're getting a reason to play white in the form of Palisade Giant. Palisade Giant is a really good creature to force a combat in your favor, and it's although it's not much of a threat in itself, it will make just your team basically unkillable for a turn. And I'm aware there are some tricks that will completely blow out your combat, but if you keep those in mind, there's basically not a lot that can go wrong. We also have the Scorpion, the Ravnica Rhino. It's just decent Gogai creatures. And the Rick's Mighty Guild Mage as something else that we might be tempted to splash for, except that the Rick's Mighty Guild Mage is probably the only one that doesn't do anything if you don't have the appropriate buttloads of mana, because the effects are really small. For a reckless deck they're really important, but for a deck like this, not so much. The double white is the Palisade Giant is a bit of a bitch, but we have the Mana Bloom, we have the Ravnica rune, we have the Transcold Promenade. I'm sure we can fit in the planes if we don't get a corresponding guild gate, so I'm just going to take the Giant and hoping we can play it. Here we're getting again a few cards that our deck will benefit from. We have the Lunch Party, which is a decent removal spell, and it works well with the Gatekeeper Vines that we have. Just throw Vine away, that has done its job, and get a creature down. It's really good. We also have Jared's Orders, which is somewhat underrated, and it allows us to search for one of the big guys when we need it, and even get stuff like Sewer Shamble in the graveyard so that we can scavenge it. So it's probably a good card for this deck. However, we are a bit light on the removals, so I'd rather have the Lunch Party and have an answer for big creatures that our opponent has than just something that solidifies our deck a bit more. Okay, here we're getting another Rick's Mighty Guild Mage, which I'm going to dismiss for the same reason as the previous one. We have an X-Plane Guardian, which is great to ramp for. And it looks like we're going the complete ramp route, so the alternative is taking the Zanikov Locust, which is basically just another guy at the end of the curve. And right now we already have a lot of cards to fill that role. We have the 2 7-drops, the Oracle's Giant. So just taking the X-Plane Guardian and hoping that we can make that work. So here we're getting another Palisade Giant, and I really like the first one, and I've never played with 2, so I think it's a good time to find out if 2 works as well. And here we have a booster that does nothing for us at this point. There actually isn't a card in this booster that probably would make the deck. I think the Lobber Crew is the best card. The Reserve Patrol would be okay, but we're not bothered by Reserve Patrol with this deck, so I don't feel like hating it. But the fact is we're not bothered by any of these cards. So there's no point in hating one of those, and none of them are going to hit our deck. So I'm just going to take out the Lobber Crew because I think it's the best card. But we're not playing it. Okay, here we're getting another Lunch Party. I'm happy that this card came so late, but it's kind of to be expected with Lunch Party. But it's a lot better than the alternatives in this booster. We could use the Minotaur Aggressor instead of the Terrace Worm at the end game, but I'm not really uncomfortable with playing Terrace Worm, even though it isn't a good card. I'd much rather have the complementary Lunch Party to get a bit more removal into here. This booster gives us again nothing that we would really want to play. We could take the Giant Growth and have a combat trick ready, but I don't feel that this deck needs it. So I'd much rather take the Tavern Swindler and have an early game creature ready if we face up against the Rakdos deck that's going to try to overpower us with the early drops. And here we get, in the last possible booster, another Guild Gate, an on-color one, someone that we will really value. And there's no doubt about it. The Perilous Shadow was a card that I might have considered because you're going to have boatloads of mana. But I think right now it's a bit more important to have its second gate than to get another power creature because we already have a lot of those. This booster brings us the World Black Rhino back, and there's a little bit of a gap here, so I don't mind taking it, especially since X-Wing Guardian makes you have 5 mana in turn 4 if you have no other defenders, and then it would be a shame to have nothing to make use of it in that same turn. There's another Crocodile here. There's also another bad guy, big guy here, but it's also a bad guy. X-Wing Guardian is possibly the worst of the 7 drops in this set. And I'd really hate to have to play him, especially since all the other cards are better. So I'm just going to take the Crocodile, because it's just 3 power, 3 mana, that's a quality creature in my book. Here we have nothing that we would play once more. The Mind Rot is a decent sideboard card that we might board in against one of the Izzet control decks or Celestia decks with all the combat tricks. So we're taking that. We're getting next to Horncolor's Chant, which might be better than the Terrorist Worm, especially since we have a lot of cards to ramp now. I'm just taking out the Tyrler Armor because I don't have to play against it. We're getting an X-Pain stack anyway, so... Okay, so we have a lot of cards to play. There are some really powerful cards in this deck. We have the 3 Ogre Jailbreakers, the double Palisade Giant, a lot of removal and a lot of ramp. So, no, we'll just have to see how it all fits together in one deck. But I'm pretty confident that that we'll be able to pull some punches. Okay, so let's see. The Lotta Troll goes in, Escort Gatecreeper provides, and the X-Wing Guardians. I want to keep the Session Key Rune on the side right now because I don't know if it'll make it. The first fine as well. The Augur Spirit, good removal. Dark's Rage Mud is a beast creature. At least 2 of 3 crocodiles will make the deck. And the third one is a bit on the ropes. It came in late and I didn't really calculate it in, so I don't know if I want to play it yet. I like the Rhino. I don't like the Stag. I like the Archweaver. I like at least 1 charm and I'm out of money. And then we have some cards here. Jailbreakers. And I'm keeping that one to the side as well. Then we have the double giant. Okay, so this looks like 23 cards. Among these 23 cards, there are 6 cards that produce mana. There are the 3 Gatecreeper Finds, 2 X-Men Guards, and the Mana Bloom. So even though we're playing 8 mana spells, I think this deck can do with 16 lands. If we have 2, we're probably going to have 3 because we will have a Vine or a Mana Bloom. And if we have 3, we will have enough. The early game team, in the form of the Stover Crocodiles and the Ogre Jailbreakers, are good enough to hold the fort long enough for the late game to kick in. So I want to actually make sure that there is late game to kick into. These are basically the options. And we can discount Thresh Defining Stone, Fair Crocodile. The Crocodile is just another early game creature that we do not need at this point because we already have enough of those. The Thresh at 5 is to recycle something, but I don't see a whole lot of this deck dying. And even the things that go to the graveyard are easily replaced or just not necessary to have another time. Launch Party is a great card, but having another launch party means having more card disadvantage, and that's not something I'm looking forward to. So taking these 2 out. That leaves us with either one of the 2 late game spells or another one of the ramp spells. I think we have enough to ramp spells. The fact that this gives white mana is relevant for the Palisade Giants, but I think that the rest of the deck is good enough to back it up. We're going to put a plane in here. We don't have to play a mountain for the red spells, so basically a 2-color deck with the planes. That's good enough. We can support the Giants of that, so we don't need this. And then it leaves us between Horncolor's Chant and Terror's Worm. And I think that since the difference between 7 and 8 mana for this deck is virtually non-existent because of all the mana power it can put forth, Horncolor's Chant is just a whole lot better. There are 2 creatures instead of 1, it gives 8 power instead of 5, and it comes with Trample. and that's all really important. So we're taking the terrace worm off the list. If we still had Jar's orders, I might have considered the worms that call a whole girl's jump, but now it's going to be a jump. We're putting in these 3 lands at least. It doesn't matter if they come to play tap, because it's not like we want to rush in on the action. And that leaves us with 13 lands. One of them is going to be plain, like I said. So, it's going to be a plain. It leaves us with 12 lands to divide between green and black. They're pretty evenly split. And we need 1 green and 1 black, and then everything works. I mean, sure, the Archreaver is 2 green, yes, strike is 2 black. By the point if we have 6 and 7 mana, we probably should have 2 of each, and else something went wrong a lot. The green is a bit more needy than the black, since we need to cast this Gatekeeper Vines, and I actually want to have 9 sources for that. So we already have the Golgari Guild Gate and have Transport Promenade, so I want 7 forests, and 7 forests means that there will be 5 swamps. And it will look like this. And I'm pretty okay with this deck. As I said in my articles before, the X-Wing Guardian plan is not one I really like, because it can fizzle out for having too much lands or just too much heavy spells and then do nothing. But I feel there is a lot of good mid-game for us to finish it off for us. We have the 3 Jailbreakers, which are really powerful cards, and we have Silver Crocodiles, which can buy a lot of time if used correctly. And I think that even the Palisade Giant might qualify as a mid-game card, because if it lands in turn 5, it'll buy us 2 or 3 turns before the opponent will have something to deal with it. And we'll get some free hits in as well if we're lucky. So, yeah, I think this is a good deck, and I think this deck can win, so let's see how it goes. See you in the games. Hey, welcome back, and this is the first match of the draft. We won a die roll, and I'm thinking about not wanting to play first. The deck could really benefit from the extra card to streamline the draws out. We have a lot of defensive action, and in the long term we're going to win anyway, so I don't think we need the speed. The downside is that our opponent might have that speed and use it to crush us. But I think our defense team can handle that, at least I hope it can. So I'm going to go for the draw first. And it's going to pay off, because this is a hand that I don't want to keep. We have 9 green sources, so it might work out, but we have 2 cards that can't help us right now. We have 1 card that will have to do it alone, and I'm not really excited about having this. We can do a lot better, so I'm mulliganing this, and I'm mulliganing this as well. And that leaves us with an absolute train wreck that at least has mana sources. So we're going to keep this and hope if we draw something that can fix our mana up. At least we're having draws, so that's not so bad. It is a bit of a big deal that we can't cast any of our spells right now. But I'm fairly sure that with a deck with 22 mana sources, it'll sort itself out. Okay, so our opponent is opening with a dagger from him. That's okay. I mean, it's a decent enough card, but the Drag Mangler I'm more concerned about. It's going to deal us a lot of damage before we can muster up to anything, and if we kill it, it'll be a big dagger from him, which I'm not looking forward to. Drawing all these forests, is it making me happy? I don't. But then again, there are a lot of cards we can cast right now, so if we draw something like the Ogre Jailbreaker, then we can just start blocking decently. And if we draw a Black Mana Source, we have the Reckless Rage mode to raise back a bit. He has nothing on turn 4, which is good. We have this, is definitely not what I wanted. But right now we're not doing anything. And this is kind of the disadvantage of buffing this kind of deck, but I think it's more the problem of having had to mulligan to 5 and missing out on 2 cards. Gate Vessel Troll, that's not doing anything, so we're just going to ignore it. Here we have Ogre Jailbreaker, turn too late, but still useful. At the very least it can pull a trick, and trade to the trick if you block the Drag Mangler. So he has ultimate price for it. That's bad news. it means we're going to 4 and we need to draw something to be alive next turn. No Trestle Troll. Once more, doesn't really bother me. And we get Stonefair Crocodile. Well, it's better than nothing. You can block the Drag Mangler without problems. But that does mean we're going to have to need an answer for the Dagger Torment, or that'll be lethal next turn. And it's that point, so it's over already. We are getting a good look at his deck. It seems to be straight up Golgari. He has a Drag Mangler, but I get the feeling it's not an aggressive deck because he also has 2 Trestle Trolls and he probably has a Stab Wound plan. So we can board accordingly. We don't have a whole lot to sideboard against him. I don't think I want anything, come to think of it. Cards like Mind Rot will be not good enough because he might have his hand empty by the time we want to play it, or he might just have cards with scavenge that we don't want him to discard that badly. I don't think the extra Crocodile will do a whole lot because he's shown 2 Trestle Trolls already. And cards like Tavern Swindler, they're good against aggressive decks, but I'm not convinced that his deck is that aggressive. So we're going to try it again. Let him start first again. If he has multiple Drag Manglers, that could come and bite us in the ass because he might have 1 on turn 3 again. But I don't think Drag Mangler is a problem with between the 2 Stonefair Crocodiles and 3 Jailbreakers. We can't handle it. We just had a very crappy draw just a moment ago. So we're going for something better now. Okay, so no, we will not like to play first. And here we have a better hand. We have all the mana we need. No, I don't want the mulligan there. So now it's a lunch party. That's a good addition. And he opens with a Dagger Torment again. That's okay. I really like the Rage Mod. If we find a land, then we can do next turn the Guardian, turn after the Rage Mod. And it's a pretty good start. He doesn't have a Drag Mangler, so we might have Trestle Troll, which really isn't that much of a problem. I would have liked the Trestle Troll in our deck, but I don't think we should have picked one at the points that we could. We draw Ogre Jailbreaker, which we can cast next turn if we don't draw the land for the Rage Mod. So right now we're looking at a whole lot of potential. If the Guardian sticks, we can cast a whole lot of things. And we can just basically just sit around and wait for land to come. In whatever form it might present itself. And he has Crosscheck Menace, which is a threat, which I'd like to remove. And I'm probably going to do that with the Ogre Spree. And I'm going to do it now, as to not run into a trick. We could play Ogre Jailbreaker and see if he wants to attack and block it, but I'm not going to take that risk that he has a trick that could make use of it. Or maybe he'll just go to Giant Grow it and I'll lose the Jailbreaker. I'm just taking it out now. We still have the launch party if he presents us with a threat that we're dealing with anyway. The Mana Bloom is a card we're going to need to cast the Palisade Giant in the long run. But we won't be able to do it until we find at least some lands, so we need to wait for land anyway. He has Rogue's Passage, which is something to worry about for the late turns, but he hasn't produced anything that's worthy to make unblockable, so not that big a deal yet. And now he has Royal Back right now, that's okay. Here we have Gatekeeper Fine, actually one of the cards I was hoping we could draw. Because it can get us a gate for the Jailbreaker, and that's important. And it provides fodder for the launch party. The disadvantage here is that we can't cast it and do something else this turn that's meaningful. So we'll just load up on the manas. We'll find a Guild Gate to play. And then our X-Wing Guardian gives up 2 mana. Yeah, like this. And then we can play the Mana Bloom for 2 and have a lot of mana next turn to spend on. We're immediately ramping up to 7. So if we draw something small like the Silver Crocodile, we can do Jailbreaker and add the Crocodile, and if we don't, we can always see what we want to do. Playing Palisade Giant is a bit tempting because it doesn't get shown to have a lot of power. On the other hand, if he plays something that has 3 power or has a Giant Grow, then you can immediately kill Palisade Giant, and then it's just a 6 mana fall. He has another Threshold Roll. That doesn't do a whole lot. We're having another Jailbreaker. We have 7 mana, so I think we should spend that as good as we can, and that would mean playing the Palisade Giant. We could go for the Reckless Rage Mod and gain 3 life on a swing on him, but the Palisade Giant will get us 4 life because his swing back will not hurt as much. It's the option that he has removal, but I'm not really afraid of his removal spells right now. If he has an ultimate price for the Palisade Giant, that's too bad. And if he has a stab point, we always have the launch party to clean that up. So now it's just waiting what he's going to produce. And it's a stab point, that's okay. Yep, so we're taking 2 now. And we're drawing a Crocodile. So now we can play the Crocodile and the Launch Party, or we can play the Crocodile and Jailbreaker. The Palisade Giant is still here absorbing damage, so he won't attack us next turn. So I feel confident we can take 2 if we want to. Having the Jailbreaker developed would be a good thing because it can attack, but it'll take some time to get through the threshold rolls. The Stonefire Crocodile doesn't do a lot for us right now, but it's the only 3-drop that we have. So that's the only thing that we can do at the same time as doing something else. So I'm going to play the Crocodile in any case, and that leaves us with 4 mana. We could have played a Jailbreaker and then the Launch Party in his turn by using Mana Loom twice. I just realized that would have been better, so that's a mistake on my part. And I think we can take that 2 damage, even though it would mean that the Rollback Rhino puts us in a cloud. We still have the Crocodile and the Rage Mod, which both have lifelink, so not too concerned about that. So just bring in some mana, and here's Jailbreaker, so we at least can do an attack next turn. There's also a chance that the next turn we'll play a creature that's actually worth Launch Party, because right now it looks like taking out Dagger Throw or Threshold Roll, and if he keeps his black mana up, we're pretty much bound to killing the Dagger Throw Imp, and that's not something I'm really looking forward to. There's another Imp. That's okay. At the end, robbed him of his black mana again. So this time we can choose to get a Trust Roll out. Yes, the other Palisade Giant. It's really funny that we can just throw away the first one and then have the second one already. Attacking here doesn't do a whole lot for us. It'll trade the Jailbreaker for one of his creatures, which actually might be the Rollback Rhino, so that might be a good deal. And if he throws any other combination of creatures at it, then we still have the Launch Party. So I'm just going to attack. The Stonefire Crocodile can't go in. He'll just walk into 2 Threshold Rolls or the Rollback Rhino and die. And I want to keep him around a little bit longer. Okay, so he's taking 4. That's good enough. And I'm just passing the turn. I'll let the Palisade Giant soak up the next combat step. And then Launch Party either way if he doesn't attack, and if he does attack, he'll kill the Giant, and that's pretty fine. He has another Threshold Roll. So now these creatures are becoming a bit of a burden. And the Rogue Special is just looking like it's going to win the game for him. So this is something that I should be worried about, but we have a second Palisade Giant, so I'm still a bit lighthearted about the whole affair. He's doing nothing, so I'm just using the Launch Party to take out... I could take out an Imp, and that's probably what I'm going to do. There's no use in... I could tap one of his Trestle Trolls by launch parting it, and then next turn he can block the Jailbreaker, but he has 3 of the fucking things, and I can't see that. And just removing 1 right now isn't an achievement at all. It just means that he still has 2 Trestle Trolls to block with, and you're going to need a lot of our overpowering creatures like Horncold's chance to finish this off. So that's what we're going for. Still means I'm just going to attack with the Jailbreaker. If he blocks with everything, then maybe we can kill off the Rollback Rhino. And if he doesn't, then he'll just tap out his mana. Yep, there it goes. And I'll just put in the other Jailbreaker, I guess. So that when next turn he uses the Rollback Rhino, he's completely tapped out for his Trestle Trolls, and we can send in both Jailbreakers and get a good deal out of it. We might even play the Rectus Rage Mud and send that in as well to just get back some of the life. If he's committing to his Rollback Rhino plan, then he's going to burn pretty quickly through his Trestle Trolls. He's just doing the imp right now. Just content with doing 1 damage a turn, that's okay. We can handle that. So we'll just expand. We have the Assassin Strike, he's holding a card. If it was land, he probably would have played it, so he could make Rollback Rhino unblockable and still regenerate Trestle Troll. So I'm actually pretty curious to see what it is. I'm just taking out the Dagger Draw Imp. Not the best target, but we're getting to see his card for free. And it's not like he's going to win this race in any case, so it's probably a combat trick with Giant Crowd. He's playing it, so I won't be able to attack. There it is. And that's 2 for 1, or let's technically say 1.5 for 1. And it brings us to another turn, so. You just draw something that requires black mana, and it's Cremate. Yeah, sure. So you basically burn the black mana, which means that the Ogre Jailbreakers can attack next turn, and just soak up, do some damage, because Stress Rolls can soak it up, but he drew a swamp, so it's moot again. Actually, that's something that I've been overlooking, and you're probably have seen it yourself at home right now. That is that as long as we have a Palisade Giant, we can just attack with everything, no matter the consequences, and we can get back some of the life with Stonefire Crocodile. He doesn't have a card in hand anymore, and he only has 6 power, so that's pretty okay. And it just means we can bash in with everything for free and just take the life from the Crocodile. We have the mana to do so right now, but we've also drawn the exciting Archweaver, which can help us out next turn. So I don't think we need the life that badly, so I'm just going to play the Archweaver, see if we can get the Rollback Rhino tapped. And I'm still going to attack with the 2 Jailbreakers, though. I want to keep on offering him straight Rollback Rhino for one of the Jailbreakers. And if he doesn't, then at least he'll be busy blocking the Jailbreakers or generating, so. He might even make a mistake and tap his 2 swamps from one of the Trestle Trolls so that the other one can generate. So just the little things that go wrong with bad players, and you can't take advantage of that, so why don't do it. And here comes the Archweaver. Oh wow, Next Pain Guardian gives a hell of a lot of mana. Because these guys have Defender as well, of course. Let's see, so if we play the Archweaver, we're going to do it like this. As you might have noticed, this isn't my best session yet. I don't think I'm fully awake right now. But still, they do. I don't think I'm playing a whole lot below my usual level. It just shows that I haven't played this deck a lot. Actually, I haven't played it at all during the format. There's Terraform. Terraform is a problem on two sides. It's a creature that can kill our jailbreakers, and if it does, it'll make for one hell of a big rollback rhino, so I'm not really excited to see that. On the bright side, it's completely tapped out, so we can make a pretty safe attack with the entire team and take out some of his creatures. But then again, the question is that worth the effort? Taking out Vessel Wolf right now seems important, so we can win the race from the really big big channel with the two lifelink creatures. And we actually have the mana to play the Palisade Giant and the Rage One in the same turn, so we can get it swinging, but it doesn't let us life from the Snowflake Crocodile, so that doesn't help. And if you'll probably block those two with Vessel Trolls anyway, and he'll block this one with the Terrace Worm, and that means that the Jailbreaker and the Archcleaver will either push through for 9 damage, putting him to 10, or do nothing at all, and it leaves us with our pants hanging on the backswing. So it's a bit of a gamble right now, but I think we have to go for pushing all in. The Terrace Worm is going to put us on the block anyway, whatever we do, and the Palisade Giant will be fuck Imperial in no time. So we can play the Palisade Giant and do nothing and hope it will draw a Honkar's Chant in time, but then again he still has cards like Ultimate Price, which can completely mow us down at this point. So I'm just going to take the gamble and see if it sticks. First with the Giant, and then with the Rage Mod. Oh, they're red. Ah, so funny. And just swing with everything. Here are the obvious blocks with the Trust Force. There's actually another Trust Fall going for Stonefire Crocodile. And there's more for Jailbreaker. And I think that the Rhino will do nothing. If the Rhino blocks here, then it is a victory for us, because the Rhino is basically the only thing that's going to win in this game. The Terrace Worm I don't really care much about. We can also draw removal for the Terrace Worm, so that's okay. But now we're just going to deal 9 damage to him, gain 3 life, pulling us out of his range and taking him down a little bit into ours. So even if he keeps 3 Treasure Trolls to block, we will be doing some damage next turn. The question right now is how we're going to deal this, how he's going to block our creatures, what he wants to kill, what he's going to draw. And he drew a Dredge Beetle, that will probably trade with Stonefire Crocodile. There's also the chance that he's not attacking at all, which is okay, because then we're maintaining status quo that I'm sure we can win by drawing one of our good big cards. Okay, so Mana Loom comes back to our hand, and here's another Jailbreaker. I'm going to play the Gatekeeper Vine, because it will give us another land that we don't have to draw from the deck anymore, and it will just be the extra gate, because you don't need the mana right now. If we attack, he can regenerate 2 trolls, so he probably kills the Jailbreaker, the Terrace Worm, and one of the trolls will take the Archweaver, one of the trolls will take the extra Jailbreaker, and the 2/3 power creatures will bump into the Rhino and the Dredge Beetle. That doesn't look very good, so I'm just going to add the other jailbreaker to our board and then wait for him to make a move. We can wait. We have cards that can help us out here. We have 2 Horncross Chant, we still have a launch party. Those are the cards we are waiting for. He's probably waiting for one of his removal spells to help out a bit. And he's not attacking. And here's our launch party, is actually what we've been waiting for. So we can launch party the Terrace Worm and then declare an attack. He can block 3 creatures with Crescent Rolls, which for our assumption the attack will be 2 Jailbreakers and the Archbeaver. The Rhino will kill off the Reckless Rage Mud and the Archbeaver will kill Stonefire Crocodile and will deal 4 damage to him with the Jailbreaker and he goes to 6. Then he takes 1 from the Archbeaver, so he technically goes to 5 and we lose 2 of our attackers and he loses 1 blocker. That isn't a really good deal, so there's the option of just waiting and see what he draws next. Maybe he gets bold and wants to take in an attack, or maybe he actually keeps on doing nothing or play more creatures, and then we might be in a little bit of a tricky situation, from which case the Horncross Chant is going to be able to win for us again. So I'm still waiting for him to do something. I am going to cast the Mana Bloom again, because it's not doing anything else. Maybe because it does 6 counters it will intimidate them or something. I'm keeping the launch party mana open, so if he does do something awesome for us, like Rogue Specialist his Terrace Worm, we'll just kill it then and be completely done with it. He's keeping a card in his hand, so it might be trick at this point. Or it might be just one of the lands that he doesn't want to play for fear of another Assassin Strike or something like that. Here's more mana for us. Not useful, but it's fun to have him with so many mana sources in the deck. Nothing has changed, so I don't see any reason to change anything in our plan. And we'll just wait it out. Wait for the rhinos. And in his place. He's holding 2 cards now. He's probably stockpiling some cards now to protect his his combat tricks, so there might be a land in there in the trick. And here's probably another creature. The Direct Magma. That's okay, it's not big enough to really do anything to our guys. And there's another Crocodile. Turn team. We have another land. We have another land. There's another Dredge Beetle, so he keeps filling up on these mediocre creatures that aren't going to help him in the long run. So his draws definitely are worse than ours, and here is the first Horncross Chant that we've been waiting for. So this actually sets us up for a pretty good turn next turn. So unless we draw the other Horncross Chant, I think I'm going to just try everything sideways next turn and see what happens. I think that in the next game we might actually sideboard in one more big guy, because his deck is not really showing a lot of speed, but it is showing a lot of defensive capabilities. So we might actually want I think it's something like a Terrace Worm if we still have enough time. Okay, I think he was considering using the Rogue's Passage there on a creature. Or maybe casting a 5 mana spell. yeah, that's still a bit risky. Using 5 mana right now means that he only has 1 Trestle Troll active. Okay, he's going for the Terrace Worm. So we can block it. That's okay. Let it come. I'm not going to remove it right now. We're getting a whole lot of life in the backswing. That's okay. And I don't think that he has a spell that can deal 6 damage in those colors. I don't think there's even one in the set. Launch parting now doesn't seem very useful. I think I want to launch part something that's blocking a trample creature, so that we can deal an extra 4 or 5 damage next turn. That would be... he can of course have the fog here at this point. And if he has Druid's Deliverance, he doesn't get an extra creature. We still have 4 blockers for his 5 attackers. One of them will be unblockable, and one of them will be dead to launch party, so that's not really a whole lot of a problem. Okay, so he's making a decent effort to block, so I don't think it's Druid's Deliverance. We would have just cherry picked off the good ones and let the rest through to do nothing. He's blocking everything with trample. That's good news for us. So if we launch party, the Trestle Troll is blocking Yard Reaver, he'll be getting a bonus 5 damage. He has to spread out his other blockers, so that's okay. So this looks like 7 damage for him. I'm going to wait till he puts his regeneration. It's actually 8 damage for him, so we've already won if it stays like this. He might have the ultimate price and get rid of the Jailbreaker that's stacking, but then we'll just sacrifice the launch party and kill one of the worms. I'm going to give lifelink to the crocodiles for show. Should he have something, then at least it's not wasted. Here comes his regeneration shield for his ultimate price. It's Golgari Charm, regenerate each creature you control. That sucks, but that's not the end of the world. It's technically means still the same for us. We'll be doing him 7, 8 damage, so he's still dead on the board. So yeah, okay, sure. I'll just lifelink this one up. So yeah, here, take those 8 damage. He goes to 2. And now we only have to be careful that he doesn't sacrifice his own guy. But I don't see what to do that with. I'm going to take Terrace Worm to be rid of that. I don't mind him scavenging it back because we'll win next turn, if not this turn. And it's hardest for him to kill. Maybe I should have taken the Drag Wrangler because it's multi-color and you put an ultimate price there, but at this point it might have been actually moved. Lotta Trolls is a really good creature against him, so I hope we're having him dirt game. Seeing the Dredge Beetles makes me want to sideboard out the Stonefire Crocodiles because they'll be in for a nasty trade. And I'm going to put in the Terrace Worm. I'm thinking we have the draw again, and I don't want to be in a stalemate like last game. So I just want to be able to break it, and Terrace Worm can do that. After that can make one of the trample creatures a lot bigger. So might actually be worth it. Also the Sewer Shambler is going to be a good creature in this matchup. I might board in a Treasure Find, but he's playing a cremate, so let's not do that. We could think about taking our own cremate in, because he has a lot of scavenge creatures, but I don't think it's that powerful against scavenge creatures, and I don't think it needs a slot in this deck. As we saw last game, I mean, nothing's going to die in a stalemate, and once the stalemate is overcome, it's going to be in our favor, so I don't think we need to have that cremate action handy. I am going to try and make him lose that Rhino a little bit faster. because that can be really dangerous. But all the other creatures, I don't really care about having them be a little bit bigger. So there's the troll I was hoping for. This is also a hand that contains all the mana we are going to need, and that looks pretty good. He's playing first. That's okay. The Lotta troll can hold down the fort long enough for something good to happen. And he has an imp. Oop, there it is. And another jailbreaker for us. That's a nice follow-up. We already have the gate. There's the Lotta troll. The Lotta troll is a hard creature to beat. He has a card in his deck that can beat it right now. It's a Stab Wound. But even with Stab Wound, we could drop the Jailbreaker and the Terrace Worm and just keep the 2-1 Lotta troll. I don't know if that's a scenario I'm looking forward to. Ah, he has a Mind Rod. Mind Rod is okay. We'll just throw away the 8 mana spell and one of the lands that we probably will have enough of. Mind Rod is one of those cards that isn't really effective against his deck because there's a lot of abundant material. Things like Horncast Chant aren't going to do anything right now anyway, so we don't need it. And I don't mind losing it. So he just wasted his third turn, which could have been a useful turn, to taking away a little bit of our future potential, but not enough to actually make a difference in the future. And that said, we're basically on an aggressive plan here. Next turn comes over Jailbreaker, and a lot of Jailbreaker will have to do a lot of the work with the two of them before the rest of the team starts kicking in. So yes, the Corpsec Menace, and I'm not as scared of Corpsec Menace as I was last game he had him. I'm going to attack with Lotta Troll. If he blocks, I'll just dump the Terrace Worm, the Gatekeeper Vine on him, and kill the Corpsec Menace. And if he doesn't block, it's 2-3 damage. We could have thrown the Terrace Worm away and see if we can make a counter of it, but I want to keep it back. So that we can actually cast it if we need to. I mean, Lotta Troll is not infallible, and when he gets a Stab Wound, I'm still doubting if I should save him or not. So, let's just wait and see. He comes with Grizzly Salvage, and here come the counters, so next turn might be a good time to start launch partying. He's probably going to take the Rhino here, and then next turn use the Dredge Beetle on the Rhino and have a really big Rhino. And he indeed took the Rhino. And he's offering us the Corpsec Menace to trade for the Ogre Jailbreaker. I'm not sure if I want to do that, because he has shown he's making it moot by having ultimate price. But he had already shown that he had Giant Growth and a Golgari Charm. Trading over Jailbreak for the trick, it doesn't seem like the best of ideas. Here we have Fragdos Rage Mud. I'm just going to go in with the Troll. I'm going to play the Gatekeeper Vine so that we can launch party something next turn. And I'm going to look for the gate so that we can cast Reckless Rage Mud next turn if he doesn't do what I think he's going to do, which is good out the Rhino. It seems he doesn't have 6 land. If he had, he might have considered Dredge Beetling his dagger from him to make it 5-5. That would be okay, we just have to launch party for it. So he probably doesn't have 6 mana yet, so that takes off a bit of the pressure. Here comes his team again. Here we have Palisade Giant, which we can't cast yet, but that's no problem. I'm sure we'll draw a Sorceress. We're just going to keep back and see where this plays, and trade the launch party for his Corpsec Menace probably. If he puts on a dagger on him, he'll take the imp. Otherwise we'll just take the Corpse Menace and start blocking with the Lockwood Troll. Here's Drag Wrangler. So he's really not having any counters right now. Here comes everything. That means we're going to get a very good block out of this. The Lotta Troll can block either the Rhino or the Corpse Menace and kill it, because you can drop 2 creatures, and then we can still have the launch party use the gate to kill the other one. I'm not overly concerned about any of the 3 walking creatures, because Lotta Troll can handle those, but the Dagadron Imp with the Scavenge can become problems, especially since we're low, so I actually want to launch party that. That said, there's no need to make his creatures absurdly big, so we could take out the Corpse Menace here. You could also choose to take out the Rubbleback Rhino, because we still have removal for well, his other cards. So I'm going to take out the Rhino. I'm going to make the Gatekeeper Vine stick in front of the Corpse Menace. And then I'll throw away the Terrace Worm. And I'll throw away the Palisade Giant, because that has the least future potential. We can cast the Rector's Rage on that right now, and that's a big plus for it. And here comes his Giant Growth. On the Dagadron Imp, that's something extra special. Up, and there it goes. So we're getting an unexpected bonus. I'll put the Regeneration Shield on here. This is something that will probably cost him the game. I mean, he's losing the Giant Growth now, he's losing the Imp, he's losing the Rhino, he's losing basically everything. And there's nothing in return for him. Here's Archweaver, which we can't use. So I'm actually going to play the Rage Mod. If I play the Rage Mod, then I can block with Lotta Troll, because it will have to, it won't be able to regenerate. And getting 3 life doesn't sound a whole lot exciting. I haven't seen any other tricks in this deck than the Giant Growth, so I'm pretty fine with holding the Lotta Troll back and just waiting what happens. The other end, if he has a removal spell for Lotta Troll, it will be killed and will die. But the only other removal spell we've seen in his deck is the Stab Wound, and if he has a Stab Wound, we're going to die anyway, because we can't get rid of our Lotta Troll right now, and he's going to deal 3 damage, and we'll lose 2 life. Or we'll lose Lotta Troll, and then he still has 2 creatures, and we're doing nothing. So I'm just going to hold this back and wait for another mana source, so we can play the Rector's Rage Mod. If he attacks without any tricks, we'll trade for Corpse Menace, or for Drag Wrangler. That's okay, and if he draws his land to scavenge, then he gets 1 fat dude that will have to block, and we have no choice but to play the Rector's Rage next turn. But I can live with that. He does appear to have a trick, or this would be a really stupid attack. And he has the Golgari Charm. That's fine as far as I'm concerned. Just generate a lot of roll. I'll take 3 damage, go to 2. And this last card is the Stab Wound, which basically means we lose. Because we're at 2, he's Stab Wounding us, we die. And there's nothing we can do about it. So that's too bad, but it couldn't be helped. I think that I made a couple of play mistakes that I've told you about, a couple that I just didn't see during this draft. I did like the deck, but it also really showcased what the problem is with the X-Plane Guardian deck. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Like this game, we had no accelerations, we didn't have any Guardians, we didn't have any Gatekeeper Vines, and we were stuck with things like the Terrace Worm and the Archweaver that we couldn't cast, and we really could have used an extra mana. But we should have had more of the Vines and more of the Guardians, and even the Mana Bloom would have been an excellent card here at basically any point in this game. And we just lost to a straight up deck with some good tricks, and a little bit of an inconsistency in its game plan because it's trying to be aggressive, but then again it's not. But it has powerful cards like the Corpsec Menace, and the Rogue's Passage is very important to have if you have 3 turn slot rolls. So yeah, I guess it's over already. It's a bit of a shame, but it can be helped. So that's it for this draft, and I'm going to shut it down. So have a good night and see ya. Hey guys, we had a pretty short draft today because I lost the first round, and in the 8-4 queue that means that you're eliminated. So I want to do something extra, and that extra is being this. On this screen are the 5 pre-release cards of the upcoming set Gatecrash, and I wanted to have a little bit of a talk about going to the pre-release. A lot of you are probably going to attend one or more pre-releases. For me, I'm going to play 5. There are 5 offered, so I want to play each guild in the pre-release, and I'm going to do so. I did it for Return to Ravnica, and I liked it enough to do it again. And one of the things of these pre-releases is that you get a guild pact, a guild booster, which has all cards of your color. So if you are not able or just don't want to go to 5 pre-releases, which I can understand completely, by the way, you're going to have to choose to which the guilds you're going to want to play. And based on the reviews so far, we have spoiled up to 100 cards with 250. So we're almost halfway to knowing all the cards. And I can make an accurate prediction about which guild will be best. I'll be doing that in next week's article, which will be written. But I can give an indication about what I think of them. As I said when I discussed the mechanics last week, I think that Gruul's mechanic is completely rubbish, and that all the other mechanics are pretty much fun, and I'm looking forward to those. Of all these mechanics, I'm looking forward to Orzhov's mechanics first. And Orzhov is giving us the Treasury Troll as pre-release card, which you get to play, and Treasury Troll is a really powerful creature. I'm looking forward to playing him on the pre-release. I think it's really good, I think he looks nice, and I want to make that extract mechanic work for me. So that's what I'm probably going to do first, pile on the Treasury Troll with the Orzhov mechanic on the Friday night. That does not mean that I think it's the best guild. I think the best guild to play in the pre-releases is the Simic guild, which gives the Phantom Mage. The Phantom Mage on itself is already a really incredible, powerful creature. We haven't seen a whole lot of removal yet, so the creatures will be better unless we get more removal. That said, Evolve is a powerful mechanic that can quickly get out of hand, and in my opinion, it's the fact that Gruul is in this set that makes Evolve go over the top. The Gruul is just a lot of big creatures, and the Evolve guys, they just want big creatures to evolve, so that's a natural fit. And combined with the fact that the Gruul itself doesn't seem that powerful, means that there will be a lot of loner cards that go to the Simic guild, which will make it a lot more powerful. So if you're going to play only 1 or 2 pre-releases, I really recommend trying out the Simic guild if you want to have powerful deck. Of course, not if you're going to play it for fun, and if you're going to play for fun, I can really recommend the Dimir guild. The Cypher mechanic looks to be a lot of fun. It looks to be a hell of a lot powerful at first sight, but then having a creature that needs to attack can be a real disadvantage for it to work. So I think it sometimes might fizzle out, but when it does work, it will probably shine. And you know, those are the moments that you want to play the pre-release for those cute moments at the beginning of the set. Everything is new, and you finally make that Cypher card work. So if you're looking for a lot of excitement, I can recommend the Dimir guild. If you just want a simple tournament and just want to smash someone, then you can either go for Gruul or Boros. And I think that the Boros guild is the better one because I've seen better cards from it. I'm starting to like the battalion mechanic more and more, even though it still has all the advantages of being, you know, overextending, not defensive, things like that. But at the pre-release, that all doesn't matter as much as it does at PTQ or Grand Prix. So I think I want to go all out in the 6th round Boros as well. So I think my 6th round tournaments will be the Simic and the Boros, and I'll play the rest in the 4 round tournaments in the evenings. I'm still pretty excited about playing every guild. I'm only excited about Gruul because I want to see if it's actually that bad as I think it is. Although some of the Bloodrush cards are positively game breaking. Bloodrush is presented as a really big bonus. There are some creatures that are just giant growth. There are also some creatures that are Stonewood Invocation, and it was a good card, especially in limited. So Blood Rush might not be the complete fizzle that I thought it would be at first, but as a mechanic it's not exciting, and the only thing that would excite me from Gruul is that the creatures are really good enough to actually Blood Rush something onto them. And you know, a good creature is a nice creature, so I'm looking forward to seeing those. In any case, next week we'll go into a bit more depth about what to expect at Gatecrash. All the cards will be previewed by then, so we'll know what we're getting. Sorry about that. And in any case, if you don't read my article next week because you don't want to see the spoilers, good luck and a lot of fun with pre-release. And I'll see you after the pre-release then.